Let's do this. Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo Fiber Radio. I appreciate every last one of you as we get this day underway, and just love the fact that it's Monday. We're starting this whole new week, and I'm on Mojo Fiber Radio, one of the many hosts of many of these shows that'll be available to you on Mojo Fiber Radio. So go to mojo50.com and share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Mojo50.com, share it out with as many people as you possibly can, and we will continue to go from here. So we're going to be talking about this whole idea, the next pandemic, finding relevance, the next pandemic, finding relevance. The reason why I share this with you is because of the fact that, again, Monday through Friday, I enjoy being able to speak to you on this crazy network where we go out of our way to make everyone feel as great as possible, enjoying ourselves, and in so doing, we trigger everyone. Again, one of our favorite sponsors is Battle for Freedom. I haven't had my American Pride Roasters coffee this morning. That's the reason why everything is completely off kilter. But this is the reason why we actually continue to drink American Pride Roasters coffee, so we can wake up, have our minds completely ready to rock and roll when it comes to talking about all things news, all things crazy, as I get into talking to you about the next pandemic and finding relevance. Also, I want you to consider one of our, I think I probably need a session with Anthony from New Life Holistic, because of the fact that, check this out. I don't know what you've been going through, but I'm certain that you're tired of the useless systems you've been wasting on money for therapy. Contact New Life Holistics by going to newlifeholistics.com right now. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 on your first session. Biofeedback may be the one solution that can help you. Try New Life Holistics today. Try New Life Holistics. Try New Life Holistic and tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Again, we appreciate Anthony. I appreciate Anthony. We have some great conversations throughout the week. And this is how we let people know about, one of the other means of helping people recover from any kind of ailments, challenges, or whatever it may be. New Life Holistic, let them know Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. So today, it's really weird. I don't want to be triggered. I don't want to lose my mind up in here. But one of the challenges that we see with the news and everything going on, it seems like there's always a means of capturing your attention to just get you frustrated and angry about this. I think I talked about this last week. Now, before I get into all those, one of the things that was we're getting into, is it tornado season? You know what? Tornado season's in the beginning, and then you have the hurricane season later in the year, or it starts in a couple of months. Well, one of the things that I saw here in reference to the tornadoes was I was really surprised by this, and this was the idea that, you had this twister that's basically going through and hitting this thing. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I saw this, I was just really blown away by the idea that this tornado can do so much damage. And this is just one of the videos that's on there. Let's see. Kansas tornado generated 165 mile an hour winds as it damaged more than 1,000 homes and carved a path of destruction 13 miles long. 13 miles long. And one of the things about this is it's like, for crying out loud, how can you live out there with all this craziness over and over and over again? But you know what? People stay in that dangerous area. So please, people keep. And it says tornadoes just came 13 days after the 31st anniversary of the deadly Andover tornadoes. Yeah, because we hadn't heard anything yet about anyone being killed. But look at all that devastation. Oh my goodness, it just blows me away. If you want to interact, you can go to facebook.com/Battle for Freedom. And leave a comment there. I see Jamie and Lep, from Ain't You a Peach. You can catch them on the weekends at mojo50.com. mojo50.com. Click the schedule button, and you find out about those amazing hosts that are available to you. Linda, let's see, Heidi. Thank you very much for being part of the program. I tell you though, that devastation, watching that video of the man, that's just crazy in reference to. But this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning in terms of the crazy weather anomalies we're going to be having. And, again, they're going to keep saying it's global warming, but, whatever, global warming's global schwarming. They just have to say anything that they can because they're just going to charge you more to continue to, it's actually God's like staying relevant, saying, hey, I'm still here. No matter what's going on in the world, I'm still here. And you know what, just to wake you up, I'm going to send a tornado your way just to wake you up and kind of destroy some of the foolish idols that you have and bring you back to possibly remembering me and not being foolish here. So let's get back to these other people who feel, because that's just too devastating for me. As I sat there watching that was really sad. Another one who's trying to remain relevant, and this one was really sad. Ex-Trump advisor Dr. Birx, or if she is doctor, I don't know, warns of a summer COVID surge. A summer COVID surge that the U.S. needs to be prepared for. Southern states the hardest. You mean the states that won't be voting for Biden and Democrats? Yeah. I'm still trying to get over the article that I saw where they were talking about the idea of that there's a lot of uranium or a lot of nuclear. Yeah, uranium was in a lot of the water in the Midwest. In the states that normally don't vote Democrat. I mean, you don't have nuclear water in New York or California. I mean, all the testing sites in Nevada and California, and you have no uranium in the water? Okay. But we have uranium in our water here in the Midwest. Yeah. Alrighty. But yeah, so this is what she said, that Trump, they basically said that, Trump administration pandemic response coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, said on Face the Nation on Sunday, that the infections gradually rise nationwide. She speaks at the White House on November 19, 2020. This is the images from that. But she just basically says, Birx said coronavirus surges in other countries, including South Africa, tend to come every 4 to 6 months. Again, 4 to 6 months. Let's see. So we're in May, plus the 5th month, plus 4 is September. And if we wanted to add 2 more for 6 months, that would be November. Yeah, it's amazing. I gotta go back to Watch the Water, where they basically said, how can they tell you? They predict when the next pandemic is coming because of the water that they have. So in the next 4 to 6 months, understand this. Dr. Birx just let you know that you may just want to be very careful or get extra ivermectin, get extra quercetin, and everything else that you can imagine to stave off COVID infections. And it's very interesting that hepatitis would be hitting Alabama, a southern state that probably won't be voting for Joe Biden. And oh my goodness. So Tim decided he wanted to join, and he wanted to make a comment about he made a comment about the tornado that I was playing earlier, and he said that wasn't a tornado, it's a Russian whirlwind in the Ukraine. Yeah, well, you know what? There's going to be a lot of people even believing what Dr. Birx said about COVID coming back. Uh, yeah, this is very interesting as we sit here looking at this thing here. Hmm. Well, and here's my issue is that if we're in for another surge, then that means, oh, wait. Wasn't it just last week I heard, I think it was on the Daily Mojo. Thanks for joining, Kathy. Was it on the Daily Mojo that I heard that they said that they ran out of or they have over 3 million COVID shots that are going to be thrown away because they've expired? So we're going to have to make more to replace the ones that expired to jab more people in the South so that we can turn around and keep them safe. Ooh, yeah, let's just try to keep calm, keep having some tea, just remain calm. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'll have my American Pride Roasters coffee later. Lord help us, Lord help us, Lord help us. So Dr. Burks, we're going for round 2 in reference to this. So I'm done with you, Dr. Burks. I got no more use for you. Got no more use for you, Dr. Burks, because this is malarkey. That's going to basically say but you know what? It's not like she's not the only one who's basically trying to remain relevant. Dr. Fauci, I'm not going to do that to you today and let you see him. But Dr. Fauci is basically saying the same exact thing. Oh, no, it wasn't Dr. Fauci. Actually, it's Bill Gates is the one. I don't want you to see his face. Millionaire Bill Gates warns we have not seen the worst of COVID. Microsoft billionaire says there is way above 5% risk of pandemic generating more transmissive and even more fatal coronavirus variant. He said that the world has yet to see the worst. He previously warned the world of the worst pandemic was to hit in December 2021. The Director General of the WHO this week warned people to be wary of the virus. Now, this is the thing that's very interesting. Again, just finishing from what Dr. Burke said, and now you have Bill Gates coming out. See, here's the problem that you have to wonder as people are trying to remain relevant. As people are trying to remain relevant in society, I'm wondering how far, and if many of you who have not realized this, as you sit back and you ask yourself, as we were insulted, our intelligence was insulted that we didn't believe in science. Former president didn't believe in science. Hey, Carrie, thank you for joining. That because we didn't get jabbed, we had 100% chance of dying were we to contract COVID. Well, I contracted COVID, did not have the jab, can't have the jab. And I'm still here by God's grace. I'm still here by God's grace. That the many of those things that they told you, I wish I had hydroxychloroquine. Would I have been using it for the disease? I just wouldn't want to have some in stock. But when you actually have a new disinformation czar, I'm certain that the new disinformation czar will tell you once again that you can't rely on hydroxychloroquine. And this is the idea that we already knew that they were doing sleight of hand and everything like that. But to turn around and now hire someone to further try and deceive people. So the money that they're going to waste on this new information czar is just as bad as the money that CNN, the $300 million that CNN wasted on having CNN Plus. Trying to remain relevant, they continue to spend money to basically keep our attention when we're just done with them. We've walked away. I mean, there are people, I don't even believe that it's just Republicans and conservatives who've walked away. Even Democrats are like, I don't want anything more of this. You have lied to us. You've deceived us. And this is ridiculous. We're done with this. We want no more of this foolishness. And it's really sad because of the fact that people, I don't know if they're really ready for what's to come next. I don't believe that they're really ready for what's to come next. I'm praying that we wake up. I'm praying that we really wake up and just say enough is enough. Lord help us. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I'm tired of the foolishness. I'm tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of the lies. All of us need to be done with this. Trying to remain relevant, wasting our time. Thank you, Dr. Burks. No, thank you. We'll kind of basically say Pasta La Vista, wouldn't want to be you, because of the fact that this is just, you're not stealing any more of our life. We've given up enough of it as it is, and we're not giving up anymore. So I'm tired of all things virus and everything like that. But let me get into something that it does concern me in reference to what I love technology. I mean, I'm surrounded by technology. My field of work is technology. My field of hobby is technology. But sometimes technology goes too far. And so many different issues in the next story that I'm going to share with you that concerns me because of the fact that everybody keeps thinking that we can just go anywhere we want and there won't be any consequences to what's happening here. Let me share this one with you because this has probably led to a lot more problems in this country than you ever could imagine. Tennessee family is shocked during a family visit to Disney World, discovers an Apple AirTag tracking their 17-year-old daughter's movements for hours. Teen encourages people to change their phone settings so that they can detect the devices. The Gaston family were on a day trip to Magic Kingdom when they made the discovery. Madison, 17, and her mother, Jennifer, only found out about the AirTag 4 hours after they were first tracked. They went back to the theme park's parking lot before searching their car for the device, but to no avail. Madison continued to monitor the device's location on her iPhone through the remainder of the day. Mother and daughter alerted police, but still did not know who the gadget owner is. Hundreds of women across the U.S. have reported receiving notifications about AirTags they do not own, tracking their every move. Their devices can be easily hidden and report movement to the owner's phone. Well, okay, I'm just going to be real. Disney World, I don't know if they're Christians or not, so I don't care at this point if they're Christians or not. But for me, that Christians continue to go to Disney World is really confusing for me. Honestly, I don't understand why you're still going to that place. Seriously. I mean, seriously, everything about Disney is moved away itself from the family model. You don't need the LGBT efforts that it is doing, and the CEO has been busted saying that they want to make everything LGBT, their movies and everything, pro LGBT. But for some strange reason, we keep giving them our money. For some strange reason, we know what the agenda is. We know that they've been anti-family, but we keep doing it. Why? And then we sit there marveling why they keep doing everything that they can to go against the family model. But we keep giving them our money. Why? I mean, seriously, it confuses me like there's no tomorrow. I'm not going to lie to you. It confuses me like there's no tomorrow. I do not understand why it is that we keep spending our money with this wicked place. That's just completely different from the AirTag story. I mean, you got to lock down your iPhones better and just not leave everything on. I'm serious. Do you ever check to see what's on your phone and what's running on your iPhone? Do you basically just just jump into any network? I mean, they've been alerts out for so long. Don't auto join into any network out there. Basically, turn and configure your Bluetooth that the only things that you want receiving in it is basically on it. But this whole idea of, you think it might be the NFC capabilities that's making the AirTags available? Holly Ann says, I stopped Disney when they outsource and ask employees to train their replacement. Take care, Linda. Yes, you know what? Honestly, and it's not just Disney doing that. It's many businesses in corporate America are doing that. And it's very sad because of the fact that, again, God is trying to be relevant in our lives. And we keep endeavoring to entangle ourselves with things that really aren't relevant to our lives. And you actually have to ask yourself, what more does God have to do to get our attention, to get us to walk away from the craziness that we've been doing so that we end up finding his favor? Because if we don't do this, I fear the worst is yet to come in reference to what we'll be facing here. I'm serious, folks. We can't continue to keep playing here and think that God is not going to be happy with us. I'm not lying, folks. We can't sit here and keep thinking that God's going to be happy with us. We're playing these stupid games, and he's about to open up a can on us if we don't start walking back from the craziness of what we're doing here. We need to reevaluate what it is that we're doing, because if we don't, I fear the worst is yet to come in reference to the whooping that we're going to get if we don't repent. There's a big whooping on the way. And I don't know. I'm sorry. This is, before we go to the break, I'm sorry. This is just one of them that we're wondering why they're doing everything that they can to make us adopt a new way of thinking and acceptance. And we're sponsoring their ability to defile God's handiwork, God's children, God's creation, and we don't stop. Not only do we not stop, we give them approval. We keep paying for their wickedness. It's not the happiest place on the world or on earth. It's one of the most wicked places on earth. It's one of the most wicked places on earth. Why? I don't understand it. Why do we keep paying for this? They want relevance in our lives, and one of the biggest avenues of them remaining relevant to us adopting their language and changing everything and being and us being tolerant in their intolerant world, we keep sponsoring the avenues that keep paying for their ability to invade our lives and basically and attack our children. You think the schools are dangerous? Their playgrounds are dangerous, and we keep going there. Why? It's like, oh yeah, yes, I know it's poison, but I'm gonna keep drinking it. Don't bother me. I just want to keep drinking my poison. I don't understand. So we're gonna go through the break here because of the fact that my timing is completely off on this, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'll fix the thing in post, but I'm not going to lie to you. This is one of those things for me that just drives me up the wall, folks. This is one of those that just, I just don't understand. We know the means of fixing a problem in our society, but we have zero desire to make it happen. We know the challenges. I just don't know how we can attempt to morally restore America while we continue to empower the systems that are morally bankrupting America. I don't understand. Like, even for me, I want to look at potentially canceling some memberships, canceling some subscriptions as well. I just want to cancel them because of the fact that this is just crazy what we're watching here, folks. We have a pandemic of conscience that needs to really address us here. And if we don't do this, coming back in 10 seconds, we're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm just praying that those of us who want to be aware of what's taking place, those of us who want to be waking up and not be deceived any longer. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom, and I'm triggered about a lot of different things. And I'm not going to lie to you, one of the things that trigger me the most is our inability to walk away from the evil wickedness that's been plaguing our society for so long. Jamie says, look at this as a whole. The entity of that looks like a lot of the other demonic symbolism. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. It's just. Let's talk about the next pandemic and finding relevance. Let's move on to this other thing. Actually, this is really interesting because here's one of the ones where, again, as we're frustrated. Now, I don't know how to deal with the whole DeSantis, Disney. I'm not even commenting on that whole thing, because my thing is like, you know what, Ron DeSantis, you knew Disney was doing this a whole long time ago. You doing it now instead of doing it 2 years ago when you first were hired, it makes no sense whatsoever. Doing it now, it just seems more politically driven than it is. But, you've got all the rights, and, you've got the support behind you to get the bill passed, the Parent Protection Act passed. And so stop calling it the Don't Say Gay bill, people. When you keep saying Don't Say Gay bill, whether it is Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, the governor of Arkansas, when people keep calling it the Don't Say Gay bill, that just shows me the lack of intelligence that you have to sit down, pay attention, and read the bill for what it's worth. Because when you sit here and you promote the idea of transitioning kids, I mean, I just saw an article the other day that basically says, oh yeah, that the pediatrician, that's what it was. Yeah, Jen Psaki said last week, yes, most pediatricians out there basically support the idea of kids transitioning. And you got a lot of pediatricians that says, no, we didn't say that. We didn't say that. But because of the fact that we're trying to remain relevant, or they're trying to remain relevant and stay in our faces and in our minds and in our hearts, we have to start making our money talk. And I don't know how you can make your money talk when you keep supporting the organizations that continue to break down the family. Period. Oh, fly to Vegas. It's cheap. Let's go to another one here. of people trying to remain relevant. I don't talk much about the royals. I definitely don't talk a whole lot much about Meghan and Harry. But Netflix cancels Meghan Markle's animated series Pearl amid cutbacks. David Furness was expected to produce the show, believed to be about her own childhood. Netflix has canceled it, and the project is one of several children's shows recently scrapped by the streamer. Pearl, one of the Archewell Productions projects, was only in the development stage. Insiders claim Netflix still remains optimistic about Archewell's deal. And streamer has planned a number of projects with including their documentary series Heart of Invictus, which follows the recent Invictus Games. So they're canceled. What was it? Spotify canceled. Spotify canceled the Obama series. You had CNN Plus canceled. Now again, folks, as much as I don't agree with those places, we shouldn't celebrate their demise. We shouldn't celebrate their demise. I know they're trying to remain relevant, and these platforms that are wanting to pay for them. I'm wondering if people who are leaving the platforms, tired of being woke, that these pockets are starting to speak. Is this what's basically happening? That people are starting to speak and we're talking with our wallets? That, because again, who was it? What was it? With Amazon going up $20. It was $119. Now it's $139 a year. Netflix has gone up. Many of these places have raised their prices. I'm like, how can you raise your prices, especially with Amazon? Oh, so when they post their first quarter losses, it's because of the fact that their delivery service was inconsistent with what we were paying for. You're not making the profits that you need, so you raise the price of the money because you're about to lose a whole lot more people. I mean, honestly, even as I look at Amazon, maybe my family could spend less time buying and shopping from Amazon. It's not like I really even care about the videos that they're doing in Prime anymore. See, again, as we sit here talking about the whole idea of the next pandemic is companies trying to remain relevant in our lives. Whether it's the people that we don't like trying to be in our face constantly through the streaming services that we have. But again, I want to even look at these streaming services that are canceling these programs because they're losing money, and you have to ask why. Is it because of the fact that inflation's so high that people are finally starting to cut back on the things that they don't need? That people are basically saying, you know what, I don't care for the cancel culture. I don't care for the people supporting the cancel culture. I can't afford that cancel culture affording streaming service, so I'm canceling the cancel culture supporters. I don't know. But is it finally hitting that, even for us, we have to redo our budget because there are a lot of things that we enjoyed getting that we just can't get anymore. We went over budget, and it's time to rein in the budget. And there are a lot of things that are going to be canceled in our lives that are no longer going to be relevant. Think about this. If these big companies, folks, are spending the time to start canceling things that aren't making them money, will we? Will we learn from these businesses that are doing this? Because I'm telling you, our money has to speak louder than them. Here was another one that I thought was really... You want to talk about money, because this is money that we're losing right now because of these sick, twisted individuals. So Biden roasts himself. Biden mocks himself. And I did not watch any of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I had zero desire to watch it, even though there were like 50 different articles and 75 different videos on YouTube. I was like, I have no desire to watch this. I'm not going to watch this, but here it is. Biden mocks poor approval, his own poor approval ratings as he is roasted by Trevor Noah, while James Corden stands in for Jen Psaki, goes head to head with Fox News' Peter Doocy at White House Correspondents' dinner. You know, he made fun of his own approval ratings, his predecessor, and the GOP during the opening remarks at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday. I'm really excited to be here tonight with the only group of Americans who have a lower approval rating than I have. Biden says that the journalists, celebrities, and politicians to the set of the journalists, celebrities, and politicians attending the event. And it's interesting because of the fact that they're celebrities and politicians who have a lower approval rating than Biden, which actually is true. Because even Hollywood's hurting. Even Hollywood's hurting. Their major cash cow died in the middle of the pandemic. Between streaming services and movie theaters being shut down, they lost a lot. He then took aim at the Republicans, saying he wouldn't roast them because there's nothing I can say about the GOP that Kevin McCarthy hasn't already put on tape, he joked. So Trevor Noah was making fun of MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. He also took at the room full of people gathered without masks. He humbly paid tribute to the Fourth Estate and America's freedom, noting the privilege of being able to mock his own president. Okay. Let's deal with this for a second here. Because I think Jamie has hit it strong. I have no complaints, honestly. They are very evil. Yep. Let's deal with this one here. So we're looking at this thing where if this were Donald Trump in the midst of high inflation, if this was a former president, Donald Trump, in the midst of high inflation, and he did have the super spreader. Yeah, he had the super spreader dinner where like 30 people got infected. Even Barron got infected. And they lost their minds. The media lost their minds. But think about what happens here. The White House Correspondents' Dinner. Who pays for this? We do. In the midst of inflation, because I want to see where all the bleeding hearts are, who basically say that the rich people, they should just take their money and give it to charities. The rich people should stop wasting money. I mean, literally, we had stars and so many other people flying across the country to come to this dinner. Where are the bleeding hearts who always say that Republicans and conservatives and rich white people should donate more of their money to the poor? And they had time for this event. How much was thrown into our air? How much climate change was negatively affected and impacted for all the people who flew across the country to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner? See, joking about low approval ratings, yeah, it seems like, yeah, Watson, yeah, it's just them having fun going through the motions and everything like that. But, I mean, really, think about this, folks. We are here at this point where people are losing their livelihoods. They're losing their livelihood, but we have time to sit here and joke about it. And then we wonder why. And then we wonder why no one cares anymore. This is really sad. Because Biden and them trying to remain relevant, it only shows how desperate that they are to continue to ignore the tragedy that far too many American families are experiencing right now. A lot of families would like to go to a dressed-up dinner. A lot of families would like to go to a comedy show. The people who are in there who showed up for this event, and it's very interesting how they try to slip in undercover so no one knows that they're there. Very interesting how the news and the media has been very quiet about all the people who have attended this event. And again, how much of our tax-paying money is going towards this event? And again, I dare say to the bleeding hearts out there who say that the rich should be doing everything that they can to pay for the poor and help the poor. There are a lot of Americans in many major cities, in many back alleys, in many trailer parks, in many ghettos, who need to be relevant again, who vote for you. And they're wondering how you can continue to waste all this money and then have the nerve to charge them and their posterity for the remainder of their lives. Yeah. You want to talk about being out of touch? Yeah, let's get, how do you spin this, information czar? How do you spin this? Honestly, I think again, wasting taxpayer dollars. See, when things get so crazy and so busy in Washington and in government that they have no problem constantly going out there and having parties, having correspondence dinners. Are you kidding me? You're not supposed to be lifelong politicians comfortable in your position of power. You should barely even be noticed except when you should be representing us. If we're to make a change in the direction of this nation, we need to start shutting down a lot of different things that we've been doing. A lot of, again, this White House Correspondents' Dinner, it's almost like a rite of passage for politicians, for presidents, for the elite. And we keep footing the bill. It's time for us to basically say no more. No mas. Yes, we're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, because here's another area. See, the people who are sponsoring this foolishness also sponsor the next following thing. And this one is very difficult to make certain that I don't lose my mind up in here. But Sam Sorbo is getting another plug one more time for homeschooling. Sam Sorbo is getting another plug for homeschooling. Pennsylvania high school is forced to apologize after an LGBT club staged a drag show on school property. Veteran French teachers placed on leave for helping organize the event. The event was pitched to students at Hempfield High School as a drag show. It's not clear if students required permission slips in order to attend the show. A 9-year veteran French teacher at the school was put on leave pending a full investigation into the event. The school district said that the house found responsible to organizing the show will be held accountable. If you want a reason to stop sending your kids to public school, but hey, let's go back to all the fat places that keep funding the mentality that says and trying to normalize the very things that go against God's word, to normalize things that insult Christ. But drag queen show in our high schools. I mean, it is fully collapsed. I should have actually done this earlier when I was talking about Disney. So forgive me circling back, no pun intended, to this. But this is very sad because in the event to remain relevant, we keep supporting this foolishness. I'm thinking, holy cow. New Jersey, teaching our kids about kindergarten kids, about sex and masturbation. The schools forcing critical race theory. You know it's pretty bad when the devils don't care anymore in terms of what they want to share with our kids. You know it's really bad that they aren't hiding it anymore because they want to remain relevant, because they want to continue to devour and deflower our children. And yes, Jamie. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tim says, did you see the drag queen leading church service? See, that's the one that really gets me. Is that your church is no longer relevant when you allow the stuff to show from the pulpit. And I'm not just talking about drag queens. We know for the longest time people living an openly rebellious lifestyle against God, not just in the LGBT. We know that there are singles and married individuals wrapped up in all kinds of debauchery. But hey, they can sing and they can lead the choir. Let them in there just because we got it. When your choir directors are living openly rebellious lifestyles against God, shut down the choir. Shut down the choir. But because of the fact that the church has got to bring in the people, they got to have someone who's going to lead worship, they're willing to compromise. They're willing to compromise. They're willing to compromise. And you have to say to yourself, to the people who are in charge of everything going on here with these kids, how long before you say enough is enough? How long before you say enough is enough? Because if you don't, they're going to devour us worse than you ever could imagine. They're going to devour us worse than you ever could imagine. It's time to stand up. It's time to speak up. It's time to basically say enough is enough. We don't want any more of this. We don't want any more of this. But no, we carry on. No, we carry on and think that, you know what, it doesn't matter. We'll be perfectly fine. I'm telling you, Sam Sorbo, you can catch her on Mojo 50 Radio. You can go to samsorbo.com. Every organization that's promoting homeschooling keeps every day something new comes out. I can tell you why you need to do this. And I'm going to tell you that mentality seeps itself not just in, unfortunately, it just doesn't seep itself just into our schools and everything like that. This next story, I want you to, as people try and make sense as to why I have the position that I have. This is an interesting story. Let me share this one with you. Texas teen, 17, was lured to the park by best friend who brutally beat her while another girl filmed the attack and put it on Snapchat. The victim was taken to the hospital suffering concussion and multiple cuts. Now, this one I think is very interesting because there's a lot of different things about this story that really screams a lot of different flags in reference to the data provided, the situation, the horror of the situation. But we'll talk through this thing and work with me on this one here. Savannah, Maya Tremillo, 17. Oh, no. Maya Tremillo, 17, was savagely beaten in a park in Clifton, Texas, on the night of April 18th. She was attacked by her best friend, Ahila Vestal, 17, and Savannah Walker, also 17, and considered her as the prime attacker. Both were charged with aggravated assault after a police report was disclosed. Tremillo had reportedly been told by Vestal to bring back some shoes she had previously borrowed before linking up with the girls at the park. Gruesome Snapchat footage and pictures showed how the fight before being removed. Local police had not addressed Tremillo's harassment claims before the brawl. So, huh. So let's deal with this. First, before we even talk about so help me understand, everyone, because I don't understand. They're under 18, and I thought that if you were under 18, you could never share the information about the minors. So maybe you can help me with that so I can better understand what I missed on this. But as we get to see, a lot of people call me a helicopter parent, and I'm not a helicopter parent. But as a parent, my kids are my responsibility, and we have to protect them. Can I completely protect them from the world? No, I cannot completely protect them from the world. Only God can do that. But where God has given me the opportunity and the blessing to be a parent to them, I'm going to do the best I can to make certain that they're safe. And one of the things that I thought was really weird, as you sit here watching this thing underway, is the fact that a lot of parents just walk away. My middle daughter was invited to a birthday party this weekend. It was at a pool, and, glad she had the invite, and it was really nice. And one of the parents said, the parents of the birthday child said, you can leave if you want to. Like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I brought my laptop. I'm going to work. I'm going to work and get some things done and make certain that my daughter knows that I'm here. And I'm glad I stayed around. Now, she acted weird. We don't go to the swimming pool often, and we have to take lessons again so she can feel a bit more confident in swimming in the pool. And she pretty much was around the parameter. And I told her, listen, you can't go into the deep end of the pool. Well, she translated the shallow area in the middle of the pool as the deep end. But towards the end, my daughter said to me, I won't feel comfortable in the pool unless you're in there with me. She said to me, I won't feel comfortable in the pool unless you're in there with me. Now, what kind of father would I have been if I had just done what many of the other parents did, just picked up and just left? I'm not saying they had lifeguards there. They had so many people there to protect the children. But you have to understand this history with me in pools. In the 6th grade, my brother and I decided that we were Greg Louganis. We were at the high school pool, which I believe was an Olympic-style pool, and we wanted to show off. So here we are, 11, 12 years of age. We're at the high school pool back in our hometown, and we decide that we're going to both dive off of the pool and go off the diving board. And in the process of doing this, we were both drowning. He's only a few feet away from me. I'm looking at the whirlpool that I'm creating above me as I could see the ceiling. We're both drowning. We're both drowning. And if you saw how many kids were active in the pool, someone could have jumped in and we never would have known what was going on if the lifeguards weren't paying attention. And if I had left and allowed my daughter to be there in the midst of everything going on, what kind of parent would I have been? I share all that in light of this story of this girl being beaten up is because we put so much technology and so much trust in the hands of minors to be protected around other minors who have not fully put their minds together. We thrusted them into a world and a society, be safe, Tim, into a society that is seeking to devour them, and we send them there unprepared. We send them there unprepared. I'm not lying to you, folks. We're getting to a point where we're going to have to make a change. And if we don't, it's going to creep up and it's going to get us. Speaking of creeping up and getting us, Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo is up next. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom. Take care. God bless. I'm out. Outie. Touty. Bowdy.